Have you ever found yourself feeling more tired than you used to, even after a good night's rest? Many women past the age of 70 assume that low energy, occasional dizziness, or shortness of breath is just part of getting older. But what if these feelings aren't simply about aging, but about something quite fixable, like low iron levels? Iron is essential for delivering oxygen throughout the body, supporting immunity, and keeping energy levels steady. Yet many seniors, especially women, don't realize they may not be getting enough of this vital mineral. This matters more than you might think, because low iron can sneak into daily life, making you feel sluggish, affecting how much you can participate in social events, and even influencing your mood and outlook on life. I've worked with many clients over 70 who initially thought iron deficiency was rare or only a concern for much younger women. Yet time and again, I've witnessed dramatic improvements in energy, mental clarity, and overall zest for life once they began including more iron-rich foods in a balanced way. Today, I'd love to share 7 often overlooked iron powerhouses that can help you enjoy your days with more vitality and confidence. We'll explore each food in detail, looking at practical ways to fit it into your routine, even if you have dietary restrictions or prefer simple meal prep methods. Think of these foods as small, natural tools that can contribute to feeling more alert in the mornings and more capable of tackling the tasks and adventures you want to pursue. If you're wondering whether it's worth the effort, consider the possibility of improving your walking stamina, reducing your risk of falls due to fatigue, or simply having the energy to join friends for a lovely afternoon. That's what can happen when you address iron intake properly. As a holistic wellness coach, I've had the privilege of helping numerous older adults find realistic ways to support their well-being without drastic changes or gimmicks. Of course, iron is just one piece of the puzzle, but it's a crucial one that's often overlooked. By the end of our time together, you'll have clear ideas for adding these 7 foods to your life in a way that's delicious, budget-friendly, and easy to manage. Along the way, you may discover surprising misconceptions about iron that have been holding you back. Let's walk through each food, and by the end, you'll have a hopeful roadmap for boosting your iron levels and re-energizing your daily routine. I encourage you to listen with an open heart and think about where these foods might fit into your current lifestyle. After all, this is about more than just nutrition. It's about feeling capable, confident, and ready to embrace the moments that make life joyful and rewarding. Let's begin with a food that many of us have known since childhood: spinach. Plenty of people believe spinach alone can solve all iron needs, thanks to popular culture and old Popeye cartoons. But there's also a misconception that if you've tried spinach in the past and didn't notice a dramatic change in energy, it must not work for you. The reality is more nuanced. Consider Linda, age 76, who used to shy away from dark green vegetables because she'd heard they might interfere with some of her medications. She believed the risk wasn't worth it. When she finally spoke with her healthcare provider and discovered there was no direct conflict, she started adding spinach to her daily routine in small, creative ways like blending it into her morning omelet or her lunchtime soup. Within about a month, Linda noticed less overall fatigue, and her evening walks felt less like a chore. Part of spinach's power lies in its combination of vitamins and minerals, especially vitamin C, which helps your body absorb iron. It's also easy to prepare. If you're not a fan of raw spinach salads, try sautéing it gently with a little olive oil, garlic, or onions. This softens the leaves while preserving nutrients. Another strategy is to add spinach to casseroles or pasta dishes. You can even tuck a handful into fruit smoothies. The sweetness of the fruit will mask most of the green flavor, but you still get the benefit. Along with supporting energy levels, these simple additions boost feelings of self-reliance and control. Eating well can remind you that you're taking an active role in your health, especially after 70, when many feel their choices are dictated by age-related limitations. If you're already including spinach regularly, consider finding ways to pair it with a source of vitamin C, maybe a bit of citrus. This pairing strategy helps your body unlock and absorb more iron from plant-based foods. Little steps like these might seem small, but they add up to significant changes over time. Incorporating spinach can offer a fresh perspective on fueling your body, rather than just filling it. Now, before moving on to our second iron-rich option, here's a question to ponder. When was the last time you felt truly energized by a meal? Think about a recent breakfast, lunch, or dinner that left you feeling light and alert rather than lethargic. Sometimes noticing how we feel after eating can guide us toward the dietary patterns that truly support us. Let's explore another often underappreciated staple, lentils. Many seniors think lentils are mainly for vegetarians, or they dismiss them because beans and legumes can cause digestive discomfort. In reality, lentils are a nutritional powerhouse, rich in iron and protein, offering a gentle, steady release of energy. A common misconception is that lentils always produce bloating or gas, so they're best avoided if you have a sensitive stomach. However, James, who is 74, discovered otherwise. After retiring, he had more time to experiment in the kitchen. Initially, he steered clear of lentils, recalling a few unpleasant experiences with bean-heavy meals. Then he learned that rinsing and soaking lentils before cooking them, or buying canned lentils and giving them a thorough rinse, can significantly reduce digestive discomfort. The evidence behind lentils' benefits is compelling. Not only are they loaded with iron, but they also boast fiber, which is great for supporting digestion and helping maintain healthy cholesterol levels. Fiber can be especially important as we age to keep things moving along, as many older adults report more frequent constipation. For James, adding a simple lentil soup into his weekly routine was a turning point. He started making a big pot on Sunday, enjoying it for lunch a few times a week. Over time, he noticed that the slow, consistent energy from the lentils made his afternoon naps feel optional rather than mandatory. He still took them when he wanted, but he no longer felt like he had to crawl into bed after lunch. To incorporate lentils easily, you can look for low-sodium canned varieties and add them to salads, casseroles, or stews. They absorb flavors well, so they pair nicely with herbs and vegetables. Beyond the physical boost, cooking lentils at home can nurture a sense of creativity and independence. You might even share a new recipe with friends or family members, sparking conversations about the power of simple ingredients. Another practical tip is to try different types of lentils. Red, green, brown, and yellow each have their own textures and cooking times. Red lentils cook quickly and break down easily, perfect for soups and dals, while green or brown lentils hold their shape better and are wonderful in salads or side dishes. Experimentation can help you find what you truly enjoy while still reaping the iron-rich benefits. Moving on, let's consider lean red meat, which often sparks debate. Some seniors believe that any red meat is unhealthy and leads to heart problems. It's true that consuming large amounts of high-fat red meat can contribute to cardiovascular issues, but moderate servings of lean cuts can be a valuable part of a well-rounded diet. Think about Donna, 82, who grew up in an era where a steak dinner was a celebration, but later switched to a largely vegetarian lifestyle in her 60s because of concerns about heart disease. Over time, she noticed her energy levels dip, and her doctor recommended checking her iron levels. They were quite low. After discussing portion sizes and cuts with a dietitian, Donna decided to reintroduce small portions of lean beef, about the size of her palm, into her diet once or twice a week. The impact on her iron levels was significant. She felt more robust, and her iron tests improved over a few months. The key was portion control and choosing lean cuts like sirloin, eye of round, or top round. These contain less saturated fat while still delivering heme iron, the type of iron more readily absorbed by the body compared to plant-based sources. When preparing lean red meat, trimming away visible fat and using healthy cooking methods, like grilling or baking instead of frying, can keep it nutritious. Some individuals pair their lean beef with vegetables rich in vitamin C, such as bell peppers or tomatoes, to further boost iron absorption. From a holistic perspective, adding a modest amount of lean red meat can make life feel more balanced if it's something you enjoy. Having a flavorful, iron-rich meal once or twice a week may reduce the need for additional supplements. Of course, it's always wise to speak with a healthcare provider before making significant dietary changes, especially if you have a history of heart issues or high cholesterol. But for many seniors, a moderate approach to lean red meat can offer a satisfying way to maintain healthy iron levels while still respecting cardiovascular concerns. If you found these ideas helpful, you might take a moment to share what you've learned with a friend who struggles with fatigue. Sometimes simply discussing different foods and their benefits can spark motivation in others. You never know who might need that encouraging nudge. Up next are pumpkin seeds, a crunchy, versatile snack that's often overlooked. The common myth is that seeds are only for bird feeders or people on special diets. But for women over 70, pumpkin seeds provide a surprisingly significant amount of iron in a small package. Consider Frances, 75, who discovered them at a farmer's market. She didn't consider herself the seed snacking type, but tried a handful that were lightly roasted and salted. Over time, she learned to toss pumpkin seeds on her salads, in her oatmeal, and even as a topping for yogurt parfaits. The beauty of pumpkin seeds is that they offer more than just iron. They also contain magnesium, zinc, and healthy fats. This combination can support bone health, immunity, and heart health, areas of particular concern as we get older. Plus, they're easy to store and can last a long time in the pantry or freezer. To reduce sodium intake, you can opt for unsalted or lightly salted varieties. If chewing is a challenge, ground pumpkin seeds can be sprinkled on soups or mixed into batter for muffins or breads, ensuring you still reap the iron benefits without straining your jaw. Beyond physical benefits, making small changes like adding seeds to meals can give you a sense of control. Each time you sprinkle them on your dish, you're reminding yourself that you're actively shaping your health. In my experience, tiny habits like these often have a ripple effect. Once you get comfortable experimenting with pumpkin seeds, you might be more open to trying other iron-rich seeds or nuts, or you may even explore growing your own pumpkins in a small garden. Every positive choice can lead to another, reinforcing hope and opportunity instead of focusing on limitations. Transitioning from seeds, let's talk about fortified cereals. Many older adults have seen cereals touted as healthy for decades, only to realize that some brands are packed with sugar and low in actual nutrients. The misconception is that all cereals are the same. But Linda, who recently turned 80, began exploring her local grocery aisles and found many iron-fortified options that are relatively low in sugar and high in vitamins and minerals. She was amazed at the variety labeled for heart health, digestive support, or energy. By choosing a cereal explicitly fortified with iron, she significantly improved her daily intake with minimal effort. When you wake up, energy can often feel scarce. But a breakfast that includes a bowl of iron-fortified cereal, some fresh fruit, and maybe a sprinkling of pumpkin seeds can set a positive tone for the day. Fortified cereals can also help if you struggle to consume enough calories or protein, as many contain added vitamins and minerals that support overall health. If you're concerned about sugar, check the label carefully. Look for cereals that have at least 3 to 5 grams of fiber per serving and minimal added sugars. You could also combine a small portion of a favorite, slightly sweeter cereal with a sugar-free brand to ease yourself into a healthier habit without sacrificing taste. Another tip is to pair cereals with milk or milk alternatives that contain calcium and vitamin D. While calcium can sometimes interfere with iron absorption, having a balanced meal that includes both minerals is still beneficial in the grand scheme of things. Just be mindful if you're taking an iron supplement separately. Besides the physical benefits, there's something comforting about enjoying a classic bowl of cereal. It might remind you of simpler days, and that nostalgia can make adopting a healthier routine feel more familiar and less burdensome. Now is a good time to pause and reflect. Which of these foods resonates most with you so far? Imagine yourself trying one new recipe or snack this week. Sometimes just visualizing the change can make it feel more attainable. Another valuable source of iron is beans. Whether it's kidney beans, black beans, or chickpeas, these humble pantry staples can do wonders for a senior's energy. The tricky part is that people often assume beans are too cumbersome to cook or that they might clash with certain medications. However, Margaret, at age 73, found that canned beans were both convenient and gentle on her wallet. Initially, she worried that beans would trigger uncomfortable bloating, but she discovered that draining and rinsing them thoroughly cut down on digestive issues. She started adding beans to soups, tossing them into salads, and even making spreads or dips like hummus. Beans aren't just about iron. They also provide protein and fiber, making them excellent for maintaining muscle mass and promoting healthy digestion. As women over 70, it's especially important to keep muscles strong to support mobility and balance. The combination of iron and protein in beans contributes to better energy and stamina for activities like walking, gardening, or even dancing at social gatherings. And let's not forget the emotional perks. Preparing a hearty bean chili or a cozy soup can bring warmth and comfort, possibly sparking memories of family gatherings in your younger years. The act of cooking can itself be therapeutic, reminding you that nourishment is a form of self-care. If you're looking for a quick way to incorporate beans, start with something simple. Mash some kidney beans with a little olive oil and seasonings as a spread on whole grain toast. Pair it with sliced tomatoes or cucumbers for a refreshing contrast. Small steps can lead to bigger habit changes. Over time, you may find yourself preferring beans over some of the processed foods we often rely on. The satisfaction from a flavorful, nutrient-dense meal can be quite motivating. And if you do take medications that may interact with certain foods, a quick check-in with your pharmacist or doctor can clarify any concerns so you can fully enjoy the benefits of beans. Finally, let's spotlight dried apricots. There's a misconception that dried fruits are just candies disguised as health foods. While it's true they contain natural sugars, dried apricots also offer a concentrated source of iron, along with fiber and antioxidants. Because they're dried, they're easy to store, and you can enjoy them as a quick snack without much preparation. Carol, age 78, had a sweet tooth and often found herself reaching for chocolate or cookies in the afternoon. By swapping a few cookies for a small handful of dried apricots, she was able to get a gentle energy lift while also supporting her iron levels. Over time, that choice made her feel more in control of her cravings. Dried apricots can be used in all sorts of ways, chopped up in oatmeal, blended into smoothies, or even cooked into savory dishes like a Moroccan-inspired stew. If you're watching your sugar intake, you might combine them with nuts for a balanced snack. While they are higher in sugar than fresh apricots, their iron content makes them worth considering, especially if your overall diet is varied and rich in other nutrients. Just be sure to choose options without added sugars or preservatives whenever possible. On an emotional level, finding a satisfying sweet treat that also delivers key minerals can be empowering. Many seniors worry about giving up the small pleasures that make life enjoyable. By identifying healthier swaps that still taste good, you open up new possibilities rather than feeling restricted. This sense of opportunity is exactly what we want to foster. Aging doesn't have to mean giving up on flavor or treats. It can be a matter of making choices that support both enjoyment and health. All 7 of these foods, spinach, lentils, lean red meat, pumpkin seeds, fortified cereals, beans, and dried apricots, provide unique ways to enhance your iron intake. If you integrate even a couple of them into your weekly meals, you might notice a gradual lift in your daily energy, a steadier mood, and a renewed willingness to engage in favorite activities. This isn't about chasing quick fixes or miracle cures. It's about acknowledging that each small decision you make can accumulate into powerful, positive changes over time. There's no time like now to reflect on your next move. Does adding spinach to your breakfast sound appealing? Or perhaps you're more intrigued by the idea of making a simple lentil soup or swapping your usual snack with dried apricots. Pick one step that feels doable and give it a try. Remember, health is a long game, and incremental shifts can lead to profound results. You have more control over your well-being than you may think. If you're feeling inspired, you might share your journey with a close friend or neighbor. Invite them to join you in trying a new iron-rich recipe, or have fun comparing creative uses for pumpkin seeds. This not only keeps you accountable, but can also deepen your connections. Building a sense of community around wellness often sustains motivation and brightens our mental outlook. As you consider these ideas, it's worth recognizing the broader potential. Imagine waking up in the morning feeling a bit lighter, with just enough extra energy to go for that walk, meet a friend for coffee, or even start a new hobby you've been curious about. Low iron may not seem dramatic, but addressing it can transform the way you experience day-to-day life. By proactively choosing foods that replenish your body, you'll be investing in your independence, mobility, and joy far into the future. Of course, no single food can replace professional medical advice or solve every health concern. It's always wise to consult with a trusted healthcare provider if you have specific conditions or take medications that might interact with certain foods. But beyond that, You have the power to make dietary choices that can positively shape your daily life. Small as they might seem, each choice represents a step toward greater vitality and comfort in your own skin. If you're eager to take action, here are a few ways to get started. You could schedule a time this week to review the items in your pantry or shop for a new ingredient you've never tried before. If you love cooking, experiment with a new lentil stew or a dish that combines beans and vegetables. For those who don't cook often, try something simple like adding a tablespoon of pumpkin seeds to your cereal. And if you're active on social platforms or chat groups for older adults, consider sharing a photo or brief story about your new routine. You never know who might be inspired by your example. You might also keep a small journal to track how you feel after incorporating each of these 7 foods. Sometimes seeing your progress on paper is all the motivation you need to keep going. If you're comfortable, have a conversation with your doctor about checking your iron levels, or at least mentioning that you've started focusing on iron-rich foods. They may have additional tips tailored to your specific health profile. The most important takeaway is that you're not helpless or stuck in old patterns. Even after age 70, there are countless opportunities to fine-tune your nutrition in ways that support a fulfilling, vibrant life. You've lived through an incredible range of experiences and changes. Making adjustments to your diet is just one more way to adapt, thrive, and prove that age is indeed just a number. Embrace the chance to bring more color and variety into your meals. Nourishing your body with iron-rich foods doesn't just improve your physical energy. It can also uplift your mindset, reminding you that each day holds new possibilities. While the path to better health is rarely a straight line, every forward step is worth celebrating. Let this be an invitation to honor your body, your resilience, and your innate capacity to keep growing and learning. You have the wisdom of a lifetime behind you and the potential for many fulfilling moments ahead. Now is the time to harness both.